Hello friends, welcome to a new lecture today on MCQ session for stomach. Which of the following surgeries is not bariatric surgery? So, among the given options, banding gastroplasty, Rox and Y gastric bypass, and sleeve gastrectomy are bariatric surgery, whereas duodenojejunectomy is not a bariatric surgery. Then question number 2. What is the investigation of choice for gastric and duodenal perforation? Any perforation in the body, the investigation of choice is X-ray chest erect with diaphragm. We should do X-ray chest erect with diaphragm for gastric or duodenal perforation. Then question number 3. Treatment of bleeding gastric ulcer is, if there is gastric ulcer, you should do ulcer excision. But what are the steps? If you were asked if there is a bleeding gastric ulcer, then the next step is, then always the first step is resuscitation. You should resuscitate the patient. Second, you will have to try to manage bleeding with the help of endoscopy. Then you should give proton pump inhibitors and H. pylori therapy, which is the third step. Then even after that, if bleeding persists, then we do operative therapy. Okay, next question number 4. The most common site of rupture of stomach in blunt trauma is, the most common site of rupture of stomach in blunt trauma is antrum, along the greater curvature. See, the most common type of trauma causing injury to the stomach is penetrating injury. Blunt injury rarely causes gastric injury, but the tear in blunt trauma is seen in the antrum along the greater curvature. Then, question number 5. What is the modified radical gastrectomy? Modified radical gastrectomy. In modified radical gastrectomy, we will see the options. Spleen and pancreas are removed. Yes, in modified gastrectomy, we will remove spleen along with pancreas. Gastrectomy with N1 nodes are removed. Actually, this is not done. So, let me just summarize you about what are the things that are removed in modified gastrectomy. Initially, for cancer stomach, they were doing partial gastrectomy in 1950s. But it was found that almost 60% of recurrences were reported. So, to prevent recurrences, we started doing modified radical mastectomy. In modified radical mastectomy, we remove the total stomach or even remove part of esophagus. That is, esophagogastrectomy is done, and then we remove the gastric bed. So here we remove transverse mesocolon, greater and lesser omentum. Spleen is mobilized with retroperitoneum with its attachments like maneuver of Gomez and Gomez for mobilization of spleen, and distal pancreatectomy is done along with splenectomy, and stomach is divided 1 inch below the esophagus for anastomosis. So here in modified radical gastrectomy, we remove transverse mesocolon, greater and lesser omentum, spleen and pancreas along with the stomach and a part of esophagus if necessary. Then question number 6. Which of the following is not true regarding the dumping syndrome? So let's see the statements. A. Post-vagotomy status. Yes, dumping syndrome can occur in post-vagotomy status. True. Starch is beneficial in dumping syndrome. Actually, in dumping syndrome is due to increased glucose or sudden release of glucose from the diet. So here we will have to prevent the sudden release of glucose from the diet. So for this, starch and carbohydrate items are restricted, and we should allow the patient to take high fat and high protein diet. Small frequent meals are beneficial. It is false. It is true. We should ask the patient to take small frequent meals. And clinical features include diarrhea and bloating. True. Then question number 7. Endoscopic sclerotherapy. Following are complications except. So let us see the options. Endoscopic sclerotherapy. Hepatic encephalopathy. No. Hepatic encephalopathy occurs if there is any, hepatic cause like bilirubin, increased bilirubin. But in endoscopic sclerotherapy, we have no such complication. Other complications like stricture, perforation and fibrosis are associated with endoscopic sclerotherapy. Then question number 8. Carcinoma of stomach developing secondary to pernicious anemia is located in. It is located in proximal stomach or fundus. Remember, carcinoma of stomach, carcinoma of stomach developing secondary to pernicious anemia is located in the fundus, whereas the most common site of carcinoma of stomach overall is antrum. But if it is due to pernicious anemia, it is located in the fundus of stomach. Then question number 9. Most common cause of Krukenberg tumor is. Krukenberg tumor is bilateral ovary involvement by transcoelomic spread. So this is most commonly seen in stomach cancer. Krukenberg tumor is bilateral ovary involvement by transcoelomic spread, which is most commonly seen in gastric cancer. Then we have curling ulcers. Curling ulcers are more commonly seen in duodenum. The most common site of curling ulcer is first part of duodenum more than stomach. Curling R for burns. In burns we have R, in curlings we have R. Okay, so curling ulcers occurs in burns, and it is most commonly seen in duodenum. Then last question, locally invasive gastric cancer. The best investigation to know the depth of cancer invasion is. Always for knowing the depth of cancer invasion, endoscopic ultrasonography is preferred. Endoscopic ultrasonography is done by introducing an endoscopy with 7.5 to 112 MHz ultrasound transducer. It is 85% sensitive in T staging and 80% sensitive in N staging. Right? So, thank you guys for watching my lecture. Thank you.